A celebrated staple of Hollywood since the earliest days of cinema, my personal favourite genre of movies, war movies, account for some of the most beloved, influential and successful movies of all time. From classic epic war outings all the way to unsung modern films about lesser known wars or certain aspects of major wars, the genre's finest offerings strive to capture an immersive snapshot of armed conflict, while filmmakers going above and beyond in order to produce an authentic depiction of war that doesn't come across as cliched, unrealistic or disrespectful. In some cases, this can even extend to enlisting actors with legitimate military experience to help their cause. As such, the genre plays host to a number of prominent war movies that star real-life military veterans. Many of Hollywood's biggest A-listers have served in a branch of the military in one capacity or another, with many of them using their real-life experiences to lend authenticity to their portrayal of a war movie character further down the line. From classic genre outings to modern standouts, real-life veterans in war movies don't appear to be going anywhere anytime soon. Welcome to Popcorn Programming, and here are 10 classic war movies that star actual war veterans. Pop pop! In number 10, we have Missing in Action from 1984, which stars Chuck Norris. One of Chuck Norris's best and most beloved movies, 1984's Missing in Action follows Colonel Braddock, a Vietnam War veteran in search of Marines presumed dead under the movie's titular status quo. The cheesiest Norris flick imaginable, Missing in Action was critically panned but proved to be a box office hit, retaining cult classic status as one of martial artists' most beloved offerings to this day. Despite Norris's reputation as an action hero icon, his history of military service may still come as a surprise. The Walker Texas Rangers star joined the United States Air Force in 1958 as an air policeman, serving until 1962 when he was discharged with the rank of Airman First Class. Norris was bestowed with the nickname Chuck and even begun his training in Tang Soo Do during his time spent on the South Korean military base. In number 9, we have The Great Escape from 1963, starring Donald Pleasence. Known for its star-studded ensemble cast and iconic action scenes, 1963's The Great Escape heavily dramatises the real-life Stalag Luft III mass escape perpetrated by Allied POWs during World War II. Remarkably, a significant portion of the main cast had all served time in the armed forces prior to the movie. Stephen McQueen, James Coburn and Richard Attenborough were just some of the star names with military experience, while James Garner had even received a Purple Heart for his service in the Korean War. However, the movie's most prominent example is arguably Donald Pleasence. The man charged with playing Forger Colin Blythe, Pleasence was initially a conscientious objector before joining the RAF as a wireless operator in 1940. Flying in over 60 raids, Pleasence was shot down and spent time from 1944 to 1946 as an actual prisoner of war, much like his dramatic charge. The Englishman was known for his organising and performing in plays for his fellow prisoners. He would return to the theatre after being released and discharged in 1946. In number 8 we have 1964's The Train starring Burt Lancaster. An iconic black and white entry from John Frankenheimer, 1964's The Train is viewed as a classic to this day. Chronicling a daring effort to foil a Nazi scheme to move stolen French art masterpieces to Germany by locomotive, Frankenheimer's acclaimed movie is renowned for its use of legitimate train wrecks and explosions to bring its thrilling story to life on screen. Further adding to the film's air of authenticity, the train's leading man even happened to be a bona fide military veteran, as the actor even performed with the 21st Special Services Division, an arm of the military centred on providing entertainment and bolstering morale. The movie saw Hollywood icon Burt Lancaster tasked with bringing French resistance fighter Paul Labiche to life on screen. While he never saw active combat, Lancaster enlisted in the US Army during World War II and would serve for 2 years. Duly attaining the rank of Technician 5th grade, the actor performed with the 21st Special Services Division, an arm of the military centred on providing entertainment and bolstering morale. In number 7, we have 1943's iconic movie Casablanca, starring Humphrey Bogart. A seminal piece of cinema that is frequently mentioned in the ongoing debate of the greatest movie ever made. 1942's Casablanca may not be a war movie in the traditional sense, but it qualifies given that it was set and filmed during World War II. If Die Hard qualifies as a Christmas movie for these reasons, then this qualifies as a war movie. There isn't much to say about Michael Curtis's timeless Best Picture winner in terms of effusive praise that hasn't been said 1,000 times before. Casablanca remains a nearly flawless film for more than 80 years later. Taking on the role of Rick Blaine, cinema icon Humphrey Bogart found himself with an opportunity to channel his previous experiences of a world war into his legendary performance. The American had previously joined the United States Navy during the First World War, leaving the service after a year with the rank of Petty Officer Second Class in 1919. Bogart's trademark lisp and facial scar are both alleged to have come about as a result of his time in the Navy, although the circumstances behind each development vary from account to account. In number 6 we have 1980's The Big Red One, starring Lee Marvin. Named for the distinctive red numeral 1 patches worn by the 1st Infantry Division, 1980's The Big Red One radiates authenticity from the very get-go. This is likely due in no small part to influence of director Sam Feuer, a decorated World War II veteran who served in the same division. The movie is based on Feuer's experiences during the conflict, with the director choosing another veteran to lead the film's cast to add an extra layer of legitimacy to proceedings. Said veteran takes the form of archetypal cinematic tough guy Lee Marvin. Charged with playing the Big Red One's unnamed protagonist, Marvin is instantly believable as a battle-hardened and savvy sergeant for good reason. A scout sniper in the 4th Marine Division, the American was decorated for his participation in multiple amphibious raids during the Pacific Theater in World War II. Marvin was eventually medically discharged after being wounded in action multiple times, bowing out as the rank of Private First Class. In number 5 we have 1989's Glory, starring Morgan Freeman. One of the best Western war movies ever made, 1989's Glory focuses on one of the Union Army's earliest African American regiments during the American Civil War. Edward Zwick's evocative offering received highly positive reviews, earning a 95% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and garnering 3 Oscar wins from 5 nominations. Dotted in amongst a star-studded ensemble cast, the movie features Morgan Freeman as a supporting character called Sergeant Major John Rawlins. One of the cinema's most decorated and revered names for his instantly recognisable voice, Freeman's military history may come as a surprise to many. The Glory star enlisted in the US Air Force in 1955, working as a radar technician for nearly 4 years. The Academy Award-winning actor had risen to the rank of Airman First Class by the time he was honourably discharged in 1959. In number 4 we have Heartbreak Ridge from 1986, starring Clint Eastwood. One of Clint Eastwood's more underrated war movies, 1986's Heartbreak Ridge sees the Dirty Harry alum direct and star in the leading role of gunnery Sergeant Thomas Highway, an aging Marine tasked with licking an undisciplined group of Marines into shape before the looming invasion of Grenada. Effortlessly embodying the tough-as-nails veteran, a large part of what makes Eastwood so believable as Highway is armed with the fact that he actually served in the military himself. The actor was drafted into the US Army during the Korean War in 1951, serving as a swimming instructor before being discharged in 1953. In keeping with his action icon status, Eastwood even experienced a real-life blockbuster scenario during his service. The American was forced to use a raft to paddle back to shore after a plane that he was travelling on crashed into the ocean in 1952. In number 3 we have 1987's Full Metal Jacket starring Robert Lee Emery. One of the most unforgettable characters the genre has ever witnessed, Full Metal Jacket's gunnery Sergeant Hartman's litany of unprintable soundbites arguably render him the most quotable war movie character of all time. The relentlessly abusive drill sergeant is virtually synonymous with Stanley Kubrick's iconic war movie at this point in proceedings, with his endlessly creative torrent of sadistic insults serving as Full Metal Jacket's inimitable calling card. To be fair, with Full Metal Jacket, the film is sort of split in two, and the first half's brilliant with Emery in, and then the second half he's not in, and it's not as good. Kubrick needed somebody believable to breathe life into the walking, talking embodiment of nightmare fuel, and the late Robert Lee Emery was about as believable as physically conceivable. Enlisting in the Marine Corps in 1961 at the age of just 17, Emery soon became a legitimate drill instructor. He was medically retired at the rank of Staff Sergeant due to injuries more than 10 years later, receiving an honorary promotion to Gunnery Sergeant in 2002. In number 2, we have 1967's The Dirty Dozen, starring Charles Bronson. Serving as the inspiration for virtually every ragtag Motley Crue cinematic outing that would follow, 1967's The Dirty Dozen chronicles a suicide mission perpetrated by a group of convicts during World War II in the hopes of receiving a pardon. A timeless classic for the genre, Robert Aldrich's fan-favourite picture is widely regarded as one of the best war movies of the 1960s. Outside of former Marine Lee Marvin, the Dirty Dozen's most high-profile military veteran is likely Western cinema icon Charles Bronson, tasked here with bringing disgraced Colonel Joseph Ladislaw to life. The American left his job in the coal mines to join the US Air Force in 1943 during World War II, where he would work as an aerial gunner within the 39th Bombardment Group. Bronson flew 25 missions against Japanese-held islands, earning a Purple Heart for wounds received in action before leaving in 1946. And number 1, we have 1957's The Bridge on the River Kwai, starring Alec Guinness. While The Bridge on the River Kwai remains a notable example of a war movie criticised for accuracy and realism by historical experts, David Lean's picture is still widely regarded as one of the greatest films ever made. Earning 7 Academy Awards, the 1957 film features Star Wars alum Alec Guinness in the pivotal role of Colonel Nicholson, the captive British commander overseeing the POWs tasked with building the movie's titular structure for their Japanese captures. Guinness took his war movie role like a duck to water, earning the Academy Award for Best Actor for his stirring performance. However, his grounded bout should come as little surprise in light of his actual military credentials. The man behind Obi-Wan Kenobi enlisted in the Royal Navy Volunteer Reserve in 1941, where he would earn a promotion to temporary lieutenant before his departure in 1946. Guinness commanded a landing craft during the invasions of Sicily and Elba, smuggled supplies to Yugoslavian partisans in the Mediterranean theatre, and even survived a ferocious hurricane that destroyed his ship. And there you have it, there's our list. So what do you think? Who's most surprising on this list? Let us know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you are new around here. That's all for now, so I'd just like to thank you for watching, and I'd like to thank all these men for their service, and we'll see you next time. Pop pop!